in a different space. So I'm double streaming at the same time, and tonight we're making Sloppy Joe stuffed sweet potatoes with a side of roasted broccoli. So my oven is preheating to 425 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and place that into the oven, and then we will start with the Sloppy Joe situation. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So I just chopped broccoli up and coated it in olive oil and garlic powder. So this will go into the oven and cook while we are cooking other things. First step, I already chopped my bell pepper and onion, and then I use this minced garlic because I don't want to mince my own garlic. So we're going to saute this stuff first in a teaspoon of coconut oil. I am using the Our Place Always pan. So it is like a special pan that is super non-stick, and it just crisps everything up. You actually can use less oil when you cook when you use this pan. So that's why we're using that tonight, and also just because I love it so much. It's also beautiful. So let me get a teaspoon of olive oil. And I already chopped my bell pepper up. Got a piece of broccoli in there. An onion. And it took like 10 minutes. If that, maybe 5. My chopping skills are just, they're not there. And I do it really slow. So that's why it took me 10 minutes to chop up one full bell pepper. I have half of a green one and half of an orange one just because that's what we had left over, and I'm trying to get them out of the fridge. Any type of bell pepper would be good. And then I did half of a white onion, maybe not even half, a little less than half. Gonna let this coconut oil melt. Because we're not cooking all of this ground turkey tonight. I'm eating 4 ounces and he's eating 6 ounces. This is the ground turkey that I got. It's just all natural ground turkey. Just, I guess, with all the fat. So it's really good, very tender. But we probably have about 4 or 5 ounces left over that I'll just cook later, but not in the Sloppy Joe sauce. I'll just ground it up and then eat it for lunch tomorrow or something. So yeah. Gonna put a little bit of this minced garlic in there. I'm gonna do maybe a teaspoon. And let that brown as the coconut oil is also heating up. So you want to saute your vegetables first, then we'll take them out, we'll ground the meat, add the vegetables back in, and then we'll add this sauce. And I didn't do the full proportion, so I just kind of eyeballed the measurements and ingredients, and I didn't have all of the ingredients, but it tastes really good. So I used this tomato paste because ketchup has a lot of added sugar, and I know that sounds like so silly, but the recipe called for ketchup, and this is basically the equivalent of ketchup without the added sugar. And we just have it in this packet form because we had a HelloFresh a while ago and had this left over. So you can get tomato paste in a can. It called for a little bit of yellow mustard and barbecue sauce. I used this classic barbecue, and it's by the brand Noble Made, or by the New Primal. But it also, it's Whole30 approved. It does have added sugar, but only 4 grams, so it's not a big deal. Some apple cider vinegar, called for Worcestershire. That's a hard word. sauce, but I used coconut aminos because we don't have that sauce. And then just a little bit of cayenne pepper. So that's what's in the sauce. We might spruce it up or add a little bit more if we need to. So we're gonna go ahead and add these vegetables into the pan and saute them. And tonight I'm going to show you a easy way to steam sweet potatoes, or to, steam, or bake them. So we'll let these cook. You don't have to, let's see here. I'm going to rinse these off and then peel them, and then we're gonna make them in the microwave. So it's super easy. Okay, I don't know why that live just ended. We're still going on here. Hello? I don't know why the live just randomly ended. That was really weird. So what I've done, since we're kind of behind now, I kind of talked through this sauce, which I'll talk through again. We're going to be making what is it called? Sloppy Joe stuffed sweet potatoes. And right now we're sauteing bell pepper and onion and garlic in 1 teaspoon of coconut oil, and I'm sauteing them over here. We're just going to let the onions get see-through. That's how you know everything's done sauteing. So we're doing that. The sauce is kind of like I just came up with it by myself, but also pulled inspiration from another food blogger. I used tomato paste, barbecue sauce. This one is Whole30 approved. It's really good. Kind of has a good smoky flavor. Mustard, apple cider vinegar, and coconut aminos, and red pepper, or cayenne powder. And I didn't do the full amounts because we're not eating the full amount of green turkey tonight. And I've already measured out all of our meat. I just have to measure our sweet potatoes, well mine, but he's doing 6 ounces of meat, so I have everything laid over here, and I'm doing 4 ounces of meat, also have everything laid over there. But I'll cook it all in the same pan. So yeah. You can put salt and pepper on the vegetables. I'm going to add that in a little bit later. And we're also roasting broccoli. It's already in the oven, but we're doing that as a side. So all I did was chop broccoli up, coat it in olive oil and garlic powder. Yeah. garlic powder, and then I put that in the oven. It's gonna just roast the entire time that we're cooking. So yeah. These are almost done. Just a little bit longer. And then we're going to put these in a separate bowl, and then we'll make the ground turkey, and then we'll add the peppers back in, and we'll add them back in and then add the sauce. Oh, also I addressed this at the beginning of the other stream. For some reason this one like cut out and then I had to restart it. I'm streaming at the same time on 2 different platforms. So, you know, if I'm talking here, we also have people talking over there. So, almost, and then we're going to add the meat in. So I'm going to just put this pepper mixture, and I'll show you that, in a bowl. And going to add the ground turkey to the pan. And I like my ground meats chopped really, really thinly. So I'm going to just make sure that it is chopped really thinly. I don't like it to be chunky. That kind of grosses me out. So you want to make sure that this gets fully cooked before we add the sauce, because then if you add the sauce first, you won't know when your meat is fully cooked and browned. This is what that pepper mixture looks like, and I'll just split it between the both of us. And this is what that pepper mixture looks like. So you can tell the onions are pretty much see-through. Watch out. So we'll just continue to cook this. This is the ground turkey that I'm using. It's just all natural ground turkey from Trader Joe's. Looks like this. And I do have some left over. We're not doing the full amount, which is why I had to kind of custom make the sauce. And I'll just cook this tomorrow and have it for lunch or something. One thing. You guys know that I track my macronutrients, so when it comes to recipes like this, I kind of just log the proportions that I think, so they're not exact. So like the recipe called for a teaspoon of mustard. Well, mustard is nothing, so you don't even have to log it. The recipe called for like half a cup of ketchup, but I used 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. So I'm just gonna log that I'm eating 1, and then he'll eat 2, if that makes sense. And then same thing with like the coconut aminos and barbecue sauce. I have found that that's the easiest. And then same thing with like the bell pepper and onion. I kind of just put in my fitness pal that I'm eating half of a bell pepper, because that's a full bell pepper and I'll probably be eating half. So we're almost to the point where we can add the vegetables back in. show you how thinly that I'm chopping up the meat. Just because you do kind of just have to stand over here and just, not grind, but I guess separate the clumps. So this is what it looks like. So super fine. I like them to just be super, super tiny. So it looks like this. Let it cook for a little bit longer. So there's a little bit of grease, but not much. I'm just gonna leave it in there. It will make it taste better. And also just help the sauce cover all the meat. Now if it was a lot of grease, I might get it out, but where this meat is so low in fat, it's not a big deal. I'm gonna add these peppers back in. Peppers, onion, and garlic is the mixture. Just stir that around. And then we're gonna add the sauce. So I'll tell you what I did. So I used this entire packet, which is 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. And like I said before, this came from a HelloFresh meal. So you can get tomato paste in a can. I did 2 shakes of this, literally. 1, 2, because spicy. I did like a small squirt. I probably did like maybe 2 teaspoons of this. I did like 2 tablespoons of this. About 1.5 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And about 2 tablespoons of coconut aminos. So I think it tastes good. And we're gonna add that to the mixture. There's some on the other side. Okay. Now, I'm just going to make sure that the sauce coats all of the meat and the veggies. And if I need to add a little bit more of the stuff, I will. The type of person that I love to taste test everything while I'm cooking it. Or like if I have chopped vegetables over there, I'll sit there and eat them while I'm cooking. I do that when I bake too. I don't know why, but so we're gonna do a little taste test. No, it's good. It's really good. It's not too saucy. I might whip up a little bit more of the sauce to just have on the side. It's really good, really tender. So I'm going to get the lid to this pan and we'll just let that simmer and keep it warm right there. Oops. And we're going to start on our sweet potatoes. So I'm going to get the skin off of these. I'll bring my little cutting board right over here so I can be with you guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. And I'm gonna take a potato peeler and just take that layer off. Sometimes you might have to like chop the ends off, like that end is kind of being stubborn. And it has this little nifty tool on the end that you can pick out those little darker holes or darker spots. You know what would be good with this? Like a side of baked beans. It'd feel very homey. So I'm going to weigh this sweet potato. I weigh almost all of my food. Okay. I'm going to get the skin off of this one. So sorry if I'm making you nervous with me almost chopping my hand off, but I promise I won't. It hasn't happened yet. Also, fun story. One time I was peeling beets and didn't have a good grip on the beets, and I also used to peel things over the trash can. Now I peel them over a cutting board and then just dispose of the shreds later. But I was peeling over the trash can, dropped the beet in the trash can like 6 different times, attempting to peel it, and then decided makes more sense to peel over a cutting board. So then if you drop it, it's on the cutting board. Just a fun little tidbit of my life. Okay. Going to need to chop just a little bit of this one off and then reweigh. 218, just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Sorry. So I put in that I'm going to eat 200 grams. So I'll just like trim off however much I need to meet 200 grams. And that's perfect. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take 2 paper towels, like so, lightly damp them. Let me show you. Get them damp. You'll squeeze out the water so the paper towels are just damp, like I've said 3 times. You're going to take your sweet potato and a fork and poke holes all around. A little bit of the sauce residue is still on this fork, but that's okay. Now you're going to take the paper towel, wrap it around your sweet potato, like so. You're going to put this in the microwave for 5 minutes.
I don't know that one.
I'm going to go ahead and get the other paper towel ready. So, my mom taught me this trick. Just makes it super easy to eat a baked sweet potato, even though it's not baked. It's kind of just steamed. It's still delicious though. Tastes the same. Just doesn't take as long. So I'm gonna check the broccoli. Oh, it's perfectly crisp. done. Our meal's coming together. Nice, nice. I'm excited. Perfect crispiness. It's like charred on the leafy part. It's perfect. It's still tender. That was good. So, and then I'll show you how I assemble the bowl, and then we'll go. And I think instead of mixing more sauce, I'm just going to add a little bit more mustard, like a little drizzle of mustard, a little sauerkraut to the side. I'll show you how I assemble the bowl. If you don't know, then you're out of the know. But you have to eat everything in a bowl because one, it's just easier, like your food's not gonna fall out. But two, make sure I'm not starting a fire in there. You can just fit so much more food in a bowl than you can on a plate, I think. So I eat everything in or on a bowl. So when this microwave timer goes out, you're going to take an oven mitt, and if you can squeeze it and it's soft, you know it's good. So 2 more minutes. I'm going to put some salt and pepper on my sweet potato, so let me get that stuff. And I have this pink Himalayan sea salt, which is my favorite, and I keep it in this little container with the teaspoon, and then you just sprinkle it on your food. Almost done. Move the sweet potato scraps over to this other side. I'm going to go ahead and check on it. There we go. So let me show you. So I have the sweet potato, and you can tell when I squeeze it that it has movement in there and it's soft. So I'm just going to take it out of the paper towel and chop it open like so. Add some salt and pepper. We're gonna get our meat. I'm gonna place it on top of the sweet potato. And put a little drizzle of mustard on there. And I'm going to add my broccoli. Let me get this little spatula. These are the best spatulas, by the way. And this is what the dinner looks like, and it should taste delicious. Do a little taste test. It's steamy. Oh, it's really good. I will post all of the recipe details a little bit later, but that's the recipe, and this is what it looks like. Have a good night, and thanks for tuning in.